a couple of things that happened that we couldn't take care of. Okay, please call the roll.
Commissioner Curran?
Here.
Commissioner Doherty?
Here.
Commissioner Floyd?
Here.
Commissioner Japong Porter?
Here.
Commissioner Miletus?
Here.
Commissioner Raval? I think Commissioner Raval is still trying to get into the meeting. Chairman Rosenbaum?
Present. Welcome to the December 16th, 2021 Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission agenda. I always get always surprised that we have a change in name now. We have two new commissioners with us today, which is just our pleasure to welcome both of you. We're looking forward to working closely with you. We're a very close-knit group, and I know I talk on behalf of Commissioner Miletus as well, and Commissioner Ravel, wherever he is. Did we sign him in, or does he have to?
He's arrived.
You just arrived, Mr. Chairman.
Where is he?
There he is.
Ah, there you are, Commissioner Ravel. Will you say that you're present so
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first is administration, marijuana violation case resolution warnings. Rich Evans. Rich?
Yes, sir, Commissioner. Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
Good morning, Commissioner Rosenbaum and members of the commission. What you have in front of you today, for the record, my name is Rich Evans, Senior Director of Licensing and Compliance. What you have in front of you today is the continuation of the Case Review and Administrative Hearings Division. The cases in front of you will be moved for a warning. They're formally not charged in the near future. This work will continue through the December 31st, where a final list will be created, and I will report that final list to you in the January commission meeting, along with an update on our internal policies on inspector discretion. And we look forward to rolling that out and explaining the rollout to you, and I will answer any questions you may have at this time.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, sir.
None?
Sure.
Commissioner?
I move to approve the warnings notification report.
Second. Will you take the roll, please?
Commissioner Curran?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Japong Porter?
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus?
Yes.
Commissioner Raval?
Yes.
And Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. Thank you, and Rich, happy holidays. Purchasing
Same to the commission. Thank you.
distilled spirit products listed in the warehouse. Nikki, welcome, my favorite person. She is.
Good morning, Chair Rosenbaum and Commissioners. For the record, I'm Nikki Leslie, Director of Purchasing and Distribution. I'm here today to present the product listing activity for the month of September, October, and November. Under tab 1, you'll find a detailed list of activity during this period, and staff recommend that our Commission confirm the 43 items on the list. And I can answer any questions you have.
Not so much on that, but our supply chain, how are we doing on it?
Well, we still have some experience on staff delay and our staff, but overall it's improving. So I think we're getting better as we're coming out. Traffic usually kind of slow down this period of receiving. It's still staying steady. We are back up trying to get the product in. So I think we're doing pretty good.
So we're going to be living under these circumstances for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm. And also just to give you a big picture, even with all the staff and out of stock and limited supplies. This year, we are scheduled by the end of the year, we will ship probably over 4 million cases out the door. Which is about almost a 3% increase over last year.
So this is the question it's an unfair one because you really can't answer it, but just from your gut, because I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate the work you do there. I do. I understand what's going on there. What would be the major changes by having our new warehouse? How do you, what would make it easier for you?
I think the easiest also for us, we would be more efficient, but right now we're trying to operate out of 2 locations. So each case have to be touched 3-4 times before we get it to the line. Because when product come in, we have a Milford warehouse where it's received, then it's put away, and then we have to transport it when we need to stuff down here and put them on a truck. That's another touch to get down to the warehouse, main warehouse to ship. And then somebody else have to touch it again to put it away and then put it into the location, the big location. That would make us so much more efficient. And it's also the other thing I think would be great with more bigger space, and we were able to continue to offer the selection that we are known for. Because at this point, if we don't do something, we are going to have to look at drastically revisit our delisting process, where we're going to have to look at eliminate, because we can't continue to add more product without eliminating some. As you know, you can't add and not taking some away.
You know, what's really interesting is that, Chris, what Nikki just said, seriously, you've done a magnificent job in explaining the warehouse and why the need for it, but including the shipping issues, which was a little bit new for me even this morning. I think that really needs to be emphasized a little bit more in the future. That comes home to roost because there's going to be $1 billion difference in our revenue over a period of time because of the new warehouse. And it comes home very quickly when you start thinking about the logistics involved in this thing and how easier it's going to be for us in the future. Nikki, I'm glad I asked that question.
And that's also the right now we're shipping out like 3-4 doors, sometimes 2 door receiving. So if we do get to the new location, we're looking at 10 doors. So we can actually increase our capacity of receiving product in without causing delay. So it could be delayed, receiving time scheduling could be less than a week. But right now we could be 2 weeks out.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Chair,
Commissioner.
I do have another question. How is the leader program doing since we implemented it with licensees?
That's a good question.
Commissioner Freud, we just reevaluated the leader program. We have kind of put it on extension to next September to reevaluate, because the leader program, the intention was for the licensee.
Right.
With the licensee, some of it being affected by it, so it's kind of show a little bit of stack. We feel we couldn't really get the true data. And so we're basically extending it to September another year.
Good, please do, because I know that that's something that that leader program is well received with licensees. And, you know, this last 1.5 years, 2 years can't be, you know, it's hard to use that as a marker. With, you know,
and that's
half that time licensees couldn't take advantage of that program. So
and we actually are looking even after the holiday when we evaluate our space. We're going to add a couple more that meet our threshold. Even though we extend the rest, we might add a couple more.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, we need a motion, or did we have one already?
Yeah.
We need a motion to approve this.
Chair,
Commissioner?
I move.
You know, we have to find somebody to replace Michael. He's So somebody has to step up and start doing it.
I move to confirm the 43 items for September, October, and November.
Please take the roll.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Japon Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus,
Yes.
Commissioner Reval,
Yes.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. Nikki, happy holidays.
Thank you, you too.
And thank you for the great job you always do. Okay, we've got compliance, ratification of the commissioner's stipulated settlement agreement. Michael, are you on there you are. Good morning.
Yes, hi. Good morning, Chair Rosenbaum, members of the commission, including new commissioners Japong Porter and Doherty. Welcome. I'm Michael Shine, lead worker for the Administrative Hearings Division. Our division receives reports from various parts of the agency, usually public safety and licensing, and produces notices to licensees of proposed actions. And we also settle a lot of the violations or licensing matters and bring those settlements to you for ratification. This morning, we have 2 stipulated marijuana settlements in Minthorn and Oregon Expedition, which we present to you for your ratification, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, any questions?
This is how, can you hear me here?
You can.
Yes, all right. I just noticed in the Minthorn case that you had, under the aggravation, you mentioned repeated misconduct, but under the synopsis, it just says like one incident. So I may not be reading this correctly. Can you help me there?
Yes, Commissioner Doherty, was that who asked the question? Welcome. So in that case, there were multiple cameras that were out. And so although it occurred, it occurred over a period of time, there were multiple cameras out. There was also a situation in which there were different dates. The primary date was August 12, 2019, but there were problems with the cameras that occurred from July 5, 2019 through July 20, 2019. And there were a couple of different ways in which the cameras went down. So altogether, we felt that that violation was repeated.
Okay, thank you.
So, any other questions? Before we vote on it, let me make a very quick statement for both the new commissioners who just come on board. We've gone through a period of a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where there were a lot of questions, a lot of considerations on these cases, a lot of concern on how it was handled. And after a year and a half, we've come pretty much an understanding of what we're looking at on these cases. I want to implore both of you to ask all the questions you want, whenever you want. You're going to give us another different view on this again. You're going to give us a way to look at it a little bit differently. I can assure you we have gone through hell in certain ways in terms, look at the commissioners are all shaking their heads because this is what we've gone through. And rightfully so, because we take this very seriously and these are very important issues to us. So your eyes are going to be very important to look at us and tell us what you're looking at. I don't care what the questions are, whether you think they're silly or not silly, it doesn't matter, ask them. And as we go on for the next couple of months, you're going to give us a different view on this. And I can't stress strongly enough, we want it. So thank you, Dennis, Commissioner Doherty. And just ask all the questions you want. This is very important.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we need a motion.
Chair,
Commissioner?
I move to ratify the 2 stipulated settlement agreements as proposed by staff.
Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Curran?
Yes.
Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Japong Porter?
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus?
Yes.
Commissioner Reval?
Yes.
And Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. The fun part, retail services. Brian, you're up.
Good morning, Chair Rosenbaum and Commissioners. For the record, I'm Brian Aker, District Manager with Retail Services. I'm filling in today for our Director, Brian Fleming, who couldn't be with us. I'd also like to congratulate and welcome the new commissioners to the board.
Thank you.
And extend to you as you learn. Feel free to reach out to us to learn what we do and how we do it. And I'm sure Director Fleming has already expressed that to you. I'm here today to present to you two matters of business. The first will be a spouse-child permanent appointment. The second will be a agent selection appointment for store 1200 in downtown Portland, 10th Avenue. Under tab A, we have the spouse-child permanent appointment of Roger Kwan, Inc. Some background on this, Roger Kwan was the father. He became an agent in 1980 for the Gresham East liquor store. He unfortunately passed away in 2020. And at that time, we temporarily appointed his daughter, Lori Kwan, to be the temporary agent. Mark Kwan, who is here with us if you have any questions on video, joined the operation in 2001. And he and his sister, Lori, have run the store successfully for their father since that time. Their intention as a legacy to their father, they formed Roger Kwan Inc. And the intention is to have Mark be the agent representative, and Lori is still going to work alongside Mark in the operations of the store. In your materials, there's a memo from the DM to the Director of Retail Services regarding their performance and their commitment list. And with that, if you have any questions for Mark, he can be available.
Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Revolt.
Commissioner,
Mark, welcome. Thank you, you and your sister, for stepping up to the plate. I'd like for you to let us know what your guys' plans are if this were to take place.
We lost him.
He was scared by your question, Commissioner.
He's left. It looks like he,
I think he must have dropped.
can we wait for him? That's a good question, Commissioner.
Sure.
I would like to hear his response. My question too.
In the meantime, Brian, do you have a lot of experience with working with that particular? Oh, here it is. Never mind. Back.
I'm sorry, my thing booted off right when I touched the mouse. Can you hear? You guys still there?
yeah, do you have your camera on by any chance?
Oh yeah, I can turn my camera on right now.
Yeah,
There we go.
see people.
Okay, there I am. Can you guys see me now?
No.
Can we,
It's share. Oh wait, I gotta hit the share button. Here we go. There we go.
There he is.
All right.
There you are.
Welcome.
It's always better to see people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I touched the mouse when you guys invited me in, and the whole thing just turned off, and then I turned it back on.
That's
Went back
okay,
to
Mark.
the-
I had to have the entire team connect me today, so it's like, you're doing fine.
Okay. Okay, so well, there was a question right before my thing went off, and I didn't catch it.
So my question is, if this were to take place, let us know what your plans are.
Oh yes. So I've been working with my district manager, Randy Howell, and we've came up with a plan. The location I'm at needs a little more room, so we're gonna in the stock room we're gonna make a second deck, and we're gonna expand the sales floor, and we're going to rearrange the floor layout and move the registers up to the front to have a better flow in the store. And we're going to put some new coolers in and do new floors, and we're going to get the store looking really nice. We've been here since 1980, and the store is not looking as fresh as a lot of the newer ones coming around. So we're going to freshen it up a lot. And
that's something that we like hearing. You know, the whole idea from when we first started this change, you know, about 8 years ago, was that we want the stores to be really a buying experience. So I'm happy to hear that you're looking in that direction. It's important that the Oregonians see that this is a great place to come and shop and help you grow.
Yes, it is. I mean, I have a pretty good customer base. We've been here for a long, long time, and everybody just knows where we're at. And it's long overdue. I've been working on it a little at a time, you know, new shelving and stuff, but it just needs a complete refresh right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners, any other questions?
I just want to say, this is Commissioner Doherty, that it looks like you've got a schedule of getting all that done in 5 months. That looks pretty aggressive.
Yes, we do.
I'm not going to hold you to it, but I got to say I'm impressed.
So I have one question. On the death of your father, your sister, Lori, took over as temporary agent in May of 2020. Why didn't you take it over at that time?
Well, at first, the idea was I was going to let Lori do it before we were going to go as an incorporation, because then she could have passed it down to her son at some point in time. But now he's on the corporation, so we decided to do it this way, where whoever's in the corporation could end up being the agent from that point on.
Okay, thank you.
Chair,
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure, Commissioner.
Mark, I fully support the transfer from family members as the OLCC does support, but sometimes it can come with some negative things like complacency. So when it's passed down, sometimes it can result in the people it's passed down to, these family members, not being able to, or getting complacent. They've been there for a long time. They've been doing the things, and they don't necessarily go to trainings or try and do fresh things. Do you have any plans, or are you feeling like you are motivated to stay up with everything that's going to be up and coming in the next several years that are coming?
Yes, I do. We're highly motivated to get all this fixed. We've been looking for a while to find a new location also, but they're not panning out very well, so the remodel is going to go through. There was one really good location I just missed out on. It sold real fast. It was a standalone building with all its own parking, and we missed out on that. But now that the alternate locations are looking slim, we just put a Chick-fil-A in our parking lot right now, and I was looking maybe to get away from that a little bit because of the traffic that's generated, but it could be a good thing coming up that maybe it'll bring us more customers. We're not sure yet. It's only been open for a short time.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that you are looking at new ideas, and also, as Commissioner Doherty was talking about, making changes to the store. I think that's great, and I would say keep up the great work. So.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Commissioner?
Hi, Mark, and I appreciate everything that he said, Commissioner Javon Porter. So as far as expansion, sorry, can you hear me?
Can you hear the Commissioner?
No, what was that again? Can you repeat that?
First all, I want to say that I really appreciate all your efforts. But I was wondering, as far as expansion is concerned, are you on a long-term lease?
Yes, I have about maybe 8 years left on this lease. So if we were going to move, with me and my sister, we could start another business at this lease. If they won't let us out of it, possibly we could talk to them about getting out of our lease, and that's something we've been looking at. We've been here so long, and I've been here since 2001, running the store basically the whole time. And they just changed hands. The landlord, they just, the Chick-fil-A group, kind of the people that bought this development here for the Chick-fil-A, to put the Chick-fil-A in, just had us do a new lease. But I'm thinking they might let us out. I'm going to call them some more and talk to them. But if they, I mean, we're going to go forward with revamping this place right now. That's the main plan right now.
And with that main plan, what do you anticipate the increase, stock room, the deck in the stock room? What do you project, how do you project that will impact your revenue?
Yeah, we'd add about almost maybe 600 more square feet to the sales floor, and then the stock room I'm going to go up with the conveyor belt for storage in the back. So we're going to cut a big chunk of the stock room off, and then that'll allow us to get some room for the beer and wine and to rearrange the whole store. It'll be right now there's a section of the store that we can just go straight across instead of having, shoot out. And we just add that big chunk back into the store as for sales floor. And I probably, we have drawings and stuff on all that, but we've talked with Randy in extent, and he thinks it'll work out pretty good. Randy Howell from the OLCC.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions? I think we need a motion on this.
Are we gonna go back? We don't have to. I guess not, because
This
there's
is
no deliberation.
just, we don't need to.
Chair,
Stepping up to the plate. Thank you, Commissioner.
I have a point to catch. I move to appoint Roger Kwan Inc. as the permanent agent of store 1025 Gresham East, effective January 1st, 2022.
Second.
But we don't need seconds on any of this. Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Curran,
Yes.
Took me a year and a half to figure out we don't need seconds on this. Believe me, Commissioner, you're not alone.
Commissioner Doherty,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Japon Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus,
Yes.
Commissioner Reval,
And you thought this was going to be a slam dunk, didn't you, Mark? Yes.
Well, thank you.
Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. Okay, now we have retail services. Brian?
Yes, Chair. If you look at tab B, our second item for today for your consideration is the opening at store 1200 Portland 10th Avenue, downtown Portland. This vacancy has occurred because of a resignation of the PPP LLC. Sachin Thapa is the representative. He runs several other businesses and was not really able to invest the time needed to take care of this store, and made the decision to what was best for him and the state to resign. It's a very difficult store. It's been impacted greatly over the last couple of years. For some perspective, in 2017, the store volume was 6.7 million. This last 2021 fiscal year, came in at 2.9 million.
That's all because of licensee business.
That was good.
Yeah, it was about 4 million in licensee business
Yeah.
has been impacted down there.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Who?
The licensee business is the bars and the restaurants
Right.
that they supply.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The store has a great opportunity to build back. We're starting to see the businesses open back up downtown, the remote working. You're seeing a lot more suits on the sidewalk that used to really drive. They're still maintaining a very good consumer business. It's at 2.5 million. Going back into 2017, it was at 2.3 million. So it has gained the licensee business. The previous agent went through and when he took over the store, remodeled, freshened it up, and that helped greatly to that end. But today we had 6 applicants. We interviewed 4 of the applicants, and today we have 2 finalists, Troy Berry and Karush Shibran. And with that, we can start with Troy Berry to present his plan to you.
Thank you. Before we get started, you're right. You can't put lipstick on this one. This is a rebuild for years, and I, for one, would like to understand it, as explicit as both of these people can do, as to what their plans are. Commissioner Revelle had a great question the last time. What do you see your plans in the future? So how do you build this business back together? Is what I really want to hear from both.
Correct. And with that, for the finalists, a reminder to state your name for the record. You'll have 7 minutes to present. At the 5-minute mark, you will be given a reminder that you have 2 minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, Commissioner Revelle, are you going to do the timing? We can't live without it.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So with that, let's bring up Troy Berry.
Whenever you're ready, begin. If we ask you a question, I'll stop the clock so it won't impede your time and your opportunities. And when you have 2 minutes left to go, I'll let you know. And when your time is up, I'll ask you for your closing statements, and then I'll cut you off.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good morning, commissioners and members. We're thrilled to be here. This is our presentation for Store 1200, 10th Avenue Liquor Store. Next slide. In today's presentation, we will cover the following topics. Next slide. Hello, board members. We thank you for having us here. My name is Troy Berry, and this is Ebony Amato. I have a BS in speech communications, over 16 years security experience with Portland Public Schools. I also have 8 years of retail experience, including 3 years of bartending and 3 years of volunteering in liquor stores. Currently, I am co-owner of XO PDX Cleaning Company.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Ebony Amato. I have a doctorate degree in executive management, 19 plus years of management experience, which includes banking, public relations, and retail. I have also volunteered in liquor stores and currently am co-owner of XO PDX Commercial Cleaning. Next slide.
Next slide. Let's start with some good news. Currently, over 60% of our target market, ages 21 to 55, are downtown residents. And most of the economic buying power sits with the 45 to 54 age groups, with women outspending men when it comes to purchasing alcohol. Next slide. 10th Avenue Liquor is in the center and nucleus of downtown Portland and easily accessible to all East, West, and South Portland residents via Highway 26 and Interstate 405. Next slide. There are 4 liquor stores located in downtown Portland, 2 on the west side of Interstate 405 and 2 on the east side. Prior to COVID, store 1200 ranked third out of 4 downtown locations and 17th out of 280 statewide stores. With hard work and our business knowledge and experience, coupled with the city's downtown action plan, a commitment to revitalize downtown, we are confident that we can get store 1200 back on track and even surpass the 2019 numbers. Next slide. Comparative sales between 2019 and 2021 shows a sharp decline in overall sales, most directly affecting licensees. You can see that in this graph, with gray representing year 2019 and blue representing 2021. All have experienced significant sales decline. Steps to increase revenues in store 1200 will be discussed in our business strategy section. Next slide. Next slide. As mentioned, licensee sales significantly declined between 2019 with sales of over 3.5 million to less than 500,000 to date in 2021. We are fully committed to retaining and increasing licensee sales by establishing and maintaining relationships with new and existing customers. Our goal is to expand our footprint and increase sales at least 15% in our first full operating year. We will first expand our current delivery territory from a 15-mile radius to 25 miles, market additional services to evaluate KMDS online ordering to discern functionality. The key is relationships, relationships, relationships. Next slide. Here's our outline, or here's an outline of our business growth strategies. Next slide. We believe that at 10th Avenue store, it should be truly a flagship downtown location with increased lighting, lighter color palette, increased liquor selection, increased related items, enhanced security cameras, and of course, ultimate customer service. Customers will have a safe, fun, and enjoyable one-stop experience at the store. Next slide. This all starts with employee relations. Making sure the staff understands the importance of inventory control and identifying areas of concern is vital. Being proactive as opposed to reactive. Teamwork being the key. We have toured the store a few times, made introductions with Jim, who is the current general manager of the store, and his staff. We listened to their needs, such as the remodeling of a bathroom, problems with the leaky ceiling, desire for new keyboards, and many other concerns. We have a willingness to listen and understand that we need to work tireless hours with staff and the OLCC to make this store a success. We have been downtown residents for over 20 years, and we reside less than 5 minutes away. We are fully committed to understanding the need for an on-site owner's presence. We will be there. Next slide. With my security experience at Portland Public Schools, we prioritize safety, and safety shouldn't be taken for granted, and we will ensure that taking in-depth internal and external measures to make sure that safety is absolute, and no sales to minors and visibly intoxicated people is a priority. Next slide.
We will first begin with extending hours of operation. Currently, they're opening from 12 to 8, and we are going to be opening from 10 to 6 on Sundays, Monday through Friday, 10 to 8, and also Saturday, 10 to 8. Next slide. Here's a mood board of the current store in black and white intentionally. Next slide. Draw your eyes to the cluster of blocks to the right of the floor shelving. Currently, those are coolers and ATM machines that grossly block the visibility of 1/3 of the store. The front entrance and the front perimeter walls is valuable real estate that is currently underutilized. Next slide. This is a stock layout of the back area. Next slide. We're also going to intentionally focus on social media and brand marketing. We will streamline all of these platforms, creating consistency and uniformity. Customers will see and feel the brand of 10th Avenue Liquor in easily recognizable imagery across all marketing channels and and touch points. This creates a cohesive, consistent brand identity, a unified experience for both existing and potential customers. Next slide.
Closing statement, please.
Next slide. 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 This is the new store layout, which some changes in security. Next slide.
10
Why
seconds.
choose us? Because we are a team. 2 is better than 1. And with 60+ hours times 2, that gives you 120 hours of in-store presence. We're fully engaged in the day. We will be fully engaged in the daily operation. We live in the neighborhood, less than 5 minutes away, so we're part of the fabric of the downtown community. And this has been a 6-year in the work. We've been in, this is a dream, 6 years in the making.
Thank you.
Sorry
Thank
we were
you.
rushed. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it. That goes by fast.
Yes,
I know, and I'm terrible.
especially when you're having fun.
I'll be nicer someday.
All right,
No problem.
commissioners, any questions?
Chair?
Commissioner?
I have one. Thank you so much for that presentation. I'd like to say that I'd be looking forward to any modification. I literally have walked by that place, that store, that location several times. I didn't even know it existed. So I think just by enhancing the presence, the presentation would go a long way.
Yeah.
How specifically are you planning to improve relationships with the police and the community?
Well, first and foremost, welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
We, like I said, we live less than 5 minutes away from the store. So this is our home. And so just developing a relationship with community leaders, people in the community. We're part of some local organizations, the Downtown Business Association, and a few.
City Club of Portland. So we're already part of the fabric of downtown. So a lot of those relationships are already existing.
But just in terms of, I have over 16 years of experience working in security with Portland Public Schools. So I did work very closely with Portland police. And, we just think that, that store, if there is a presence in there and just allowing yourself to get to know the people. I mean, there's a lot of people on the streets downtown. Safety is an issue. You have to you just can't take safety for granted. And people should have a really enjoyable, safe experience. It feels safe to come in. But I think just having a presence alone in the store, being there, and just being around here, there's a Safeway around the corner from here that has pretty much some of the same issues. But when you acknowledge people and you're present and you let people know, hey, I see you, I think they respect that. And I think they'll respect the fact that we're coming in with some changes, some really positive changes, and we're here and visible and just, just being around.
Thank you.
Along with security cameras, of course.
Chair?
Commissioner?
Yes, I've got a question here. Thank you it's an excellent presentation, and I'm glad to see what your plans are.
Thank you.
What happens to XOPDX? Are you maintaining ownership there and will continue operating that business?
Yeah, I think for us, this has been a priority. We've been really working on this for 6 years, Commissioner Rosenbaum, but yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with multiple streams of income. We're business people, but we certainly are in a position where XOPDX, it's operating, it's fully functional, and it's operating, and we have things intact to where, we could operate multiple other businesses and still spend the time necessary to, work at the liquor store. Like I said, it's right down the street from our home, and we just welcome the opportunity.
Thank you. One other question. The Dr. and Ebony, I didn't get your last name. I'm sorry.
Amato.
Thank you, Doctor. Are you going to be full-time? Are you guys co-owning this, or are you a full-time employee?
We're definitely full-time, yes. So I will be vacating XOPDX and along with Troy and focusing on the liquor store. And I hope you guys get to see their presentation on your own, but definitely take a look at the latter part of the slides on the exterior, adding some zombie doors and stuff. You know, that was one of the highlights. But yes, to answer the question, I will be focusing full-time at 10th Avenue Liquor.
Thank you very much.
So what does full-time mean to both of you in terms of the store? How many hours a week do you think you're going to be in it, both of you?
Well,
All day, every day, 7 days a week.
I think, you know, given the issues and the licensees and shrinkage, the inventory control, I think owners, you're going to have owner presence in that store. You're going to have to be there. And we have no problem at all working 60 plus hours a piece. That's in the presentation that I said 60 times 2 is always better than 1. So, you know, 60 times 2, that's 120 hours plus between the two of us. But we're fully committed to making that happen. And we mean that from the bottom of our heart.
Any other questions, Commissioner?
Chair, I've got one. It's wonderful to see you guys. Very wonderful to see your faces. And I appreciate your tenacity and seeing you here today and going for this store. My question is, your goal is to grow the licensee sales by 15%, as I saw in your presentation. How do you expect to do that? How do you aim to do that with many of the licensees, you know, having closed their doors and probably for good? How do you aim to hit that goal, that marker?
And can I preface it and then Ebony close? I think that downtown Portland is going to come back. You know, I'm a firm believer in that. You know, I'm down here, and so yes, you're right. Many of the businesses have closed for good, but there are going to be new businesses opening up. There's constant construction downtown with retail space, and I just think you know, boots on the ground. You know, getting out. You know, just identifying those people and you know, just getting people out and working hard. You want to?
Sure. Just to expand, also, just like Troy said, there's robust development downtown. Right down the street, there's a hotel, the Ritz-Carlton. On top of the Ritz-Carlton, there's approximately 180 condominiums or units of maybe 180. I'm sorry, hotel and then condominiums up top. I can't remember the ratios, but there's commercial spaces being built. There's housing right across the street that's being revitalized in a older building, and so those are opportunities for more people to frequent the store. And so, based and coupled with the fact of building relationships, expanding the footprint, so you have a wider reach, it's definitely obtainable.
Plus, the Portland Timbers are, you know, a few minutes walk from the store.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're, you know, people are very, very popular right now.
Follow up to that is employees. Right now, you know, all businesses are having such a challenge of obtaining employees. Do they get? This store is currently, Brian, this store is open currently right now, correct?
Correct.
Do you plan on carrying over those employees with you? Or I don't know if you've had an opportunity to speak to them.
Well, yeah, we have. We've gone in and met Jim, the general manager. We've talked to Tyler and the rest of the crew, and you know, gone and you know, toured the whole store, looked at different opportunities. We listened to their needs and concerns and what they feel needs to change. And you know, yeah, you know, I think that's paramount now. You know, you have to, you know, obviously there's an issue. You know, you know, from $3.5 million in 2019 in licensee sales to less than 500,000, there's an issue. And then there's some other issues. So, you know, I think you know, we've identified those, but you know,
I agree. We'll definitely do our due diligence. I mean, I'm a trained researcher, so I look under every rock. And so just exploring, there's a multitude of things that are contributing to the loss. It's just not just licensees. So we'll turn over every rock and discern, there won't be any immediate action to get rid of or change current employees. In fact, it sounds like they need more. So be looking to identify, you know, adding one or two more people, but then also in conjunction with you guys, understanding where the true issues are and doing that research and let that data drive action.
Great, thank you. Great presentation.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I had a quick question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Miletus.
Yeah, no, and kind of a question and a comment. That's a great story. It is probably one of the most unique stores I think we're going to have. It's going to end up being, I think, a unique challenge. I think you're part of, I think, the licensee business. You're up against some of the best agents in the state in that downtown core, and
Absolutely.
they're going to be picking up that business too. So 15% might be aggressive. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so there's that dynamic. There's also the fact that you did mention it. There's a lot of tourism in that area, and there's also a lot of issues with vagrancy. So I think that I really like your security plan, but I also think that you're going to be dealing with a lot of unique dynamics down there, and you're going to be dealing with a store that, because it really is the one downtown core, like the central business district. It is the only one in the kind of is the face for the whole state in terms of tourists coming into town. So just a thought, I think the security is going to be important. I think having staff there that can deal with the unique issues of downtown Portland, 10th Avenue. I like that you're with the Business Alliance because they've expressed concerns about that area, and rightly so. So yeah, I think, yeah, just to stress security, I think is going to be important, and licensee business might be a challenge, just saying. So, I think walk-up customers could be something to really focus on, especially because it's going to be so important to put a good face out there for that store in particular. But I just want to put that on the record.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and we're up for the challenge, and we have a great relationship with multiple security companies. So we really appreciate the insight.
Yeah, right on. Good luck.
I want to follow up
Thank
with a
you.
couple of questions. These are not going to be easy ones, but then again, I'm not known to ask easy questions. The 15% is aggressive. You also said that you're going to expand your radius of your operation by 5 miles or so. And you said, and I quote, the key to this is relationship, relationship, relationship. So the question I have to you, I have a couple of them. The first one is, other than go out and shake hands with the potential licensees, what are you thinking about from a business point of view to increase your business?
In terms of relationships?
No, the relationship is what you said is key. So you're going to go out, I assume, and you're going to shake hands with people and get to know them, and that's the obviously thing to do. Is there anything else you're thinking about besides physically going out and shaking hands with the licensees on how you can increase that business?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's a multitude of ways that we anticipate this coming together. So boots on the ground, of course, and we're just drawing from experience with our existing company, starting from zero. That wasn't an acquisition. That was from zero to well over 6 figures in our operating year to potentially 7 figures going into our second year. And so that was all bootstrap, let's go get customers. And so just taking that same approach, but then also coupled with that would be, in expanding the related items. So there's a multitude of things that could that could impact and increase the bottom line. Expanding the related items, the layout of the store is a little wonky. You know, we have a lot of condominiums in that area, high-end individuals, the Arlington Hall, the Portland Art Museum. So although we want a secure environment, we also want an inviting environment. We don't want those people to come in and feeling like they have to be patted down to make a purchase. And so, you know, we're going to be implementing appealing design and just evaluating everything from the top to the bottom. And that's what I mean. And like the website is a little disjointed. Streamlining the brand, the logo, the signage, and just having that ultimate customer experience. So all of those things come together. And so when we go in there once or twice and take a look from 1,000-foot level, we can kind of project things that we anticipate are issues. But until we get in there and, like I said, you know, look under every rock and understand where those problems are fully in conjunction with you guys, then we would probably have a more concrete answer probably within 2 weeks of definitely my being there, because I'm aggressive when it comes to these types of things. It's just what I love to do.
Yeah, I mean, we understand the challenge.
Yeah,
you guys are absolutely right.
Easy.
It's not going to be easy.
I got it. What are zombie doors?
They're in the presentation. We wish we'd had an opportunity to get to those. They kind of come down because they've had some. They actually had a couple of thefts where people have kind of batter-ran the front door and backed in with trucks and broken in and stolen inventory, stolen liquor and other items. And so zombie doors, they slide down. And I don't know what page you're on. They slide down and they're very protective of the doors, so that during closing hours, the building is protected, and they look cool.
And it also helps because we all are, we live right down here. I don't know if you guys can see the neighborhood, but with protests and everything that went on, those things are potential because of, Portland's market. Those are at least protective. And then with the enhanced security, with remote access, at least it'll deter, for a while. It's not easily accessible getting into those. So they're just a roll down shutter. And then we propose also maybe painting that with a, kind of a liquor aesthetic. So when the doors are down, that it doesn't just look like metal doors, but there's a mural.
Something reflective of the neighborhood as well.
Mm-hmm. So I asked you.
It is in the presentation.
I asked you that question for a specific reason. You keep on saying that you live downtown, which you do, and that you're a couple of minutes away from the store. I asked you about the zombie doors, and here's a very unfair question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. Hypothetically, tomorrow morning, you've been invited to meet with Mayor and the City Council, and you're sitting down to breakfast with them, and you're a resident of the neighborhood. You're looking at zombie doors. This is not political. I'm talking from a business point of view. Tell us, if you were sitting there, what you would say to the City Council and the Mayor about the situation that you're going to be coming into if you get this store.
Oh, wow. And that's a great question, but that's such a loaded question. We'll be here all day.
But it really is, because this is your business. Take away the politics. I'm not interested in that. I really am not. This is your business.
Absolutely.
Your future. This is what you're going to be living with if we give you that license. And I would really like to know what you would say to them.
Well, he lived around the corner from me, first and foremost, until they ran him out, which is unfortunate, with the protesters out front. But, just a willingness to listen. And, there has to be some change. We understand the dynamics of what's going on in terms of homelessness and the drug issues and the theft. But, there just has to be a willingness to sit down and listen, and to get them to understand that, in order to hey, look, I don't know if you're aware, and you probably are, they cleaned up damn good for the World Cup, or for the cup that the Timbers played. Yeah, for the MLS championship. It was, I mean, if they did that, I mean, that should be indoctrinated into, you know, cleaning up the city, because it can be done. It's just, it's a matter of sitting down and having a willingness to listen and coming up with a comprehensive plan to do it. And, you know, it's feasible. I don't know if you want to add anything, but I mean, this is, you know, you're right. We keep saying we live here because this is I love living in downtown Portland. I love living in the Pearl, and, you know, and, you know, it's a shame the way it is. It really is. But, you know, we have to fight back and get it back the way it was, clean, safe, and a beautiful city that it once was.
City of Roses.
The city of roses, man.
Well,
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, it may have been an unfair question, but it's one that's a reality, and we have to face it. So thank you so much. Very nice presentation.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Up next, we
All right, thank you guys.
finalist Karush Shiran.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
Hold on a minute, Commissioner Revelle, are you ready?
Whenever you are, yes.
Karush,
I'm ready.
please make sure you state your name for the record.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Kurosh Kuroshiran, and my wife is Zoran Najafi. And just I want to apologize if my voice is not that clear. Unfortunately, I have some throat problem, and that is why it isn't that clear. Please forgive me. And if you have any question, please ask if you don't understand what I say. Okay. Whenever you're ready, please let me know.
I'm ready whenever you are. And as usual, at 2 minutes, I'll let you know you have 2 minutes. And then as we get closer, I'll say closing statement and welcome back.
Thank you very much. Chairman Rosenbaum, commissioners, and OLC staff. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. For the record, I'm Kura Sharan, and this is my wife and business partner for over 30 years, Zoran Najafi. We reside at 8885 Southwest Shackler Drive, Tigard, Oregon 97224 for the past 15 years. Next slide, please. I'm an Iranian entrepreneur. I have started many successful restaurant and retail businesses from 1974 in Dubai, London, England. Next slide, please. And Portland, Oregon. My last restaurant and bar was Piatino in Pearl Street, only a few blocks from 10th Avenue Liquor for over 10 years. That we sold on May 2019. We were all about personalizing, customer service, and quality. Next slide, please. We are knowledgeable and hardworking with extensive experience in all aspects of running successful business, from marketing, inventory management, to controlling business costs, labor hours, and safety. Next slide, please. This is how the outside the 10th Avenue Liquor is today, and we have long-term plan to turn the business to become a lot more profitable from the day we are appointed. Next slide, please. And this is the inside look of 10th Avenue Liquor. Next slide, please. And this is our vision. Contemporary look and brighter store with lot of new LED lighting, adding extra linear shelving space, wide and parallel aisles, adding full line of extra related items for the convenience of the customers for one-stop shop. Next slide, please. Offer wide range of local wines and local microcraft beers. Next slide, please. adding an elegant walk-in humidor. Next one, please. And brand new cashier counter. Next one, please. Organizing the stockroom and remodeling the bathroom and lunchroom for staff. Next slide, please. By knowing the restaurant industry and a lot of restaurateurs in Pelham Street and Portland, I will bring the bar sales back. And at the same time, we'll work with the City of Portland and Pelham Street Business Association that I worked with for over 10 years to promote the 10th Avenue Liquor as a family-run business and friendly and a safe store to shop in. Our estimated sale for the first year going to be, of course, this sale is based on end of 2020 sales. It's going to be 3.5. On the third year, you're hoping 4.5, and the fifth year, 6.5 million. The extended hours of operation, convenience, and service will likely drive the majority of the business earned. Next slide, please. It creates a unique and simple footprint outlet with the heavy focus on customer service engagement for all customers. Our business plan is to convenience of the customers and one-stop shop to be non-exclusive store. Also, our extended hours versus the competition will again set us apart. Our hours of operation would be Monday, Thursday, 9 to 9, Friday, Saturday, 9 to 10, Sunday, 12 to 6. Next, please. Checking ID of anybody younger than 35, not to allow backpacks, and group more than 2, upgrading the security cameras inside and outside the store with the 24 hours live feed, installing steel windows that will help us to secure the place. Next slide, please.
2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. There are over 106 hotels within 20 minutes of walking distance and population of 49,000 and 109,000 employees during the day. Next slide, please. Launch social media campaign to leverage a consumer connection and draw people into the store, as well as few local magazines. Next one, please. I have over 6 months of experience just for exchange of knowledge working with Mr. Todd Holden from Portland Center Liquor, Barry and Greta carrying me Lake Oswego and 205 Liquor. Next slide, please. Jesse and Tiffany Esteford from Jesse and Tiffany Esteford from Esteford Beverage. They have been gracious to write us a letter of recommendation, which we greatly appreciated. Next one, please, and last page. As well as my last 2 landlords for the past 15 years, Mr. Lance Killian and Robert Sachs and Dave Schrott. We would like to thank you for allowing us to present to you today, and we are grateful for this opportunity. We ask that you appoint us today as a new agent for 10th Avenue Liquor so we can promote OLCC and meet expectations of today's consumers and better serve the downtown Portland and Pearl District community and build the next big thing in Oregon liquor business. Thank you very much for all your time, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You had 10 seconds to go. You could keep talking.
I can answer you if you want.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
Chair.
Also, I forgot to say I have also spoken to Jim, to Zoe, to Greg, to Taylor, and I mean, almost all the employees. They love to stay and work with me. And Jim, he passed me his personal phone number, and we would be more than glad to have them and keep them over there in a heartbeat without any question asked.
Chair.
Commissioner?
You're speaking of, Mr. Sheeran, you're speaking of the employees currently at the 10th Avenue store right now. That's great. Okay, that was one of my questions. Okay. Great presentation. I remember you and your energy you presented before, and I remember the dynamic husband-wife duo from before, and so appreciate the energy. I'm going to ask the same question that I asked the previous applicants, and that is because I see you've got also a pretty aggressive goals with your revenue from the first year, the third year to the fifth year. How do you aim to do that? Obviously, a lot of that loss is from licensees. So how do you aim to get those licensees back? How do you aim to uptick that revenue stream?
Regarding the consumers, hopefully, if the city of Portland helping to clean the area, a lot of consumers, they come themselves. Also, me by advertising in few different magazines, like one of them were To Eat guides, and that goes to a lot of hotels and a lot of guests, and they're going to see there is a liquor store, how it is, and with the pictures, they're going to come. And regarding bringing the licensees, I know a lot of restaurateurs in Portland, like Kurt Hoffman, owner of Oven and Shaker, Lardo, and the rest. I know Kathy Bims, owner of Nostrano. I know John, owner of Mediterranean Exploration, Casey and Son, Alder and Son. I know a lot of restaurateurs, and I can easily go and see them. I tell them I started the new business, and I ask them to start dealing with us. And obviously, by giving them some incentives, like giving them the different, allowing them to order, if they want to order their glassware, they order their silverware, chinaware through us. We can get it from Houston Inc. with only maximum of 10% profit margin. Not only we're going to add a little bit to our income, at the same time, they're going to be able to buy their stuff a lot cheaper, all the stuff they need for a normal, the one they break in the restaurant, as you know, you are a restaurateur yourself. And they come and they buy their liquor from me at the same time.
Did I hear you correctly when you said that you were going to also be able to supply them with you said china and glassware, stemware, also in addition to? Very.
If they want, yeah, if they want, because it's easy to get those catalogs from Houston Inc. As you know, they are in Wilsonville. $10 a catalog. Buy 20 of those for $200. Give it to 20 different restaurants, and obviously you're going to have few of them. They call you, and at the same time they buy their drinks. They buy their drinks. I give them discount on those things. They don't want to buy their drinks. They can go to Roses or they can go to Pitman, pick it up from there.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's thought that through. Very interesting. I don't think any one of I've ever been offered that as a licensee, so that would be.
You're thinking.
Yeah. Very good.
At the same time, sorry between you guys. I didn't read anything this time. We wanted to make a little bit of change since our last presentation. So if you guys want to ask me anything, I speak. I'm here, and myself, I've been in this area for over 20 years, working with Courage, and before that, managing Corporazione Italia. I don't know if Commissioner Floyd, coming from the restaurateur and businesses, remember Corporazione Italia, that it was bought with Starbucks, and worked with Starbucks. So I have tons of retail and restaurant and coffee shop management, hiring, remaining, retail, everything. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here too. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you're in the service industry as well, right? Both of you have been licensees. You've worked in the hospitality industry, and just having your presence there, you guys have a lot of just wonderful energy. So great customer service, I'm sure, is one of your mottos, and I don't have any doubt of that.
In those neighborhoods, I have people, they remember me. Obviously, I cannot remember everybody, but there are people just remember me all
Because
the
of
time. No, it's not because of that. It's just like, being there. It's just, knowing people that we know people and they know us too.
Thank you.
Commissioners,
I have a
I
question.
have a question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Hi, thank you for such a well thought out and detailed presentation. And I have pretty high regard for Barry and his wife, Rita. I'm going to ask the same question because I think it's important. How do you plan on engaging the community and the police and leadership specifically as it pertains to your business?
They're asking about the engagement. With
Oh, yeah,
police
I mean,
and,
basically,
Pearl District,
yes, as I said, I have been member of Pearl District community associations for many years. I know almost all of them over there. And also Portland Police, they used to come to my restaurant, buy a lot of things. And I was always communicating with them because we were extremely police friendly. And then sometimes they were coming and getting their stuff. I was charging them, I was charging them according to what they were getting. And we were quite friendly. And that is how we're going to work with them, by being present all the time, trying to get the place as safe as possible, and become member of business association of a downtown at the same time. And hopefully that is how we're going to work with them. And while we are closer to the situation, we can see what other options we have, because I haven't been downtown for for quite some time. When I say quite some time, I have not looked at it business-wise for maybe few months. That is why I cannot come up with all the proper answers on that at the moment.
Thank you.
Commissioner Doherty? Thank you. That was a beautiful, beautiful presentation. And I particularly like the layout of the store that you've proposed. It looks pretty impressive.
Thank you very
much. Can you tell me what you expect that will cost to do that, and the time frame that it'll take to bring that to reality?
One thing I don't like right now about this store is counter service. Definitely, I would love to get rid of the counters, and when the materials we are looking for is more available, I'm going to get extra shelvings and put into the store. I don't like the way all the middle aisles are. They must be parallel with each other, and when we put them parallel, it is a lot easier to manage them and to basically who is there. And hopefully in next couple of months, when the other material like all the shelvings are available through different vendors in Portland, hopefully we're going to get it from them and we add. But right now, as you know, the new expansion you had, most of the shops, they have not opened. Most of the liquor stores, they have not been open because they cannot get shelvings. And that is one of the problems. And as soon as they are available, we're going to start working on it. We're going to get them, and we're going to do everything and make the store as clean as possible. But for a start, when we go there, the first thing we're going to clean going to be remodel the bathroom, remodel the lunchroom. We're going to work with the landlord to get rid of the mold and leaky ceiling, and also organizing the stockroom, cleaning the stockroom, and that's it. That is how we're going to start in the beginning.
The cost
and the cost is not going to be that much, because if we want to get only the shelvings, I don't think the shelvings going to cost more than $5,000 or $6,000. And the new lighting is just a matter of changing the bulb or adding some new fixtures, and that is not going to be more than a few $1,000s to do those things.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I can't do this without asking you basically the same questions. The first one, I thought your ancillary opportunity, look at, no matter how you cut this, there's a $4 million loss, you have to make it up. It's part of your business. You know, the rest of it, to me, I don't hear too much. I want to know where you're going to make up that business. And both of you say that the key is relationships. Now, you talked about an ancillary type of business, which I thought was very interesting. But tell me, the same question, tell me, what, if anything, you're thinking of from a business point of view, other than shaking hands and the few people that you know, and let's face it, no matter how many people you know, it's a very small percentage of what you have to develop in the future to get to where you want to go. So do you have any ideas at all on how you can increase that licensee revenue other than shaking hands and going out and saying hello to people?
Well, of course. As you know, there are over 3,000 restaurants in Portland, Oregon. And most of them, they have got the food, they've got a full license, and they're doing liquor. And obviously, because I come from the same background of being a restaurateur, it's going to be easy for me to understand what they want and what language they're talking. When I'm saying language, I don't mean their mother tongue, basically business language. I talk to them the same way as they want and get what I want and give them what they want. Because what it is, people, they should like you to buy something from you. If people, they don't like you, you be sure they're not going to spend their money with you. They have got the money in their pocket, and I have got goods in my hand. And it is going to be easy for me to go and talk to them, find a point they are interested, and just impart my goods, my services with what they have, and that's money to bring it in to increase their revenue. And I'm a kind of person. I'm not going to take anything over and be failure. Because failure has never, ever been in my resume, and I do not allow that to be there. That's it.
Well, along those lines, just out of curiosity, the grill closed down in May 2019. What are you doing since then?
Sorry.
What have you been doing since May 2019?
I see. I worked from 2005 till 2019. Me and Zora, my wife, we were working constantly. We were devoted to other businesses, 110%. And from 2019, when we closed, we said we're going to take a few months off. And we didn't work. And when we started, we wanted in 2020 to start doing something. We said, okay, we came and we applied for, what's the name of that, for another store. Unfortunately, we were not successful. And during this time, shamefully, we had the pandemic, and we were almost doing nothing. That's it. We were sitting at home. We were doing nothing. Occasionally, I was helping people in Piatinum in my old restaurant. They were calling me. They wanted some help. I was going there for a couple of hours, helping them come back home. Also, at the same time, other liquor stores, as I named, I worked with those guys for about 6 months, and working with Todd from early morning, and with Tiffany Stafford. I was going and working with them, with Barry Karimi in Lake Oswego, or his wife Greta in 205 Liquor. I was working for them like a full-time employee and only for exchange of knowledge. I wanted them to teach me what they do, how they receive the goods, how they enter it, what they do end of the night, and then they send the paperwork to you guys, and that was it. And that was also another thing I used to do.
Okay, thank you so much. And the last question is the same one. Tomorrow morning, you're going to sit down with the mayor and the city council. You got a business that you're going to run in downtown Portland. Tell us what you would tell them.
Well, unfortunately, there are lots of people, they are in this city, they are homeless. And 95% of them, they are not from Oregon or from East Coast. Most of them, they have boat ticket. They have boat ticket for them, and they gave them a couple of $100, and they asked them, okay, why don't you go to Portland, Oregon? The police is nice, not going to do anything, and the people are good. They're going to feed you, and you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. I'll ask them, how about if we send them back to their own home state? Why don't we do that? I hope you don't take me wrong on this, because Portland, Oregon is my home. It is where I am. It is where you guys gave me a home to stay. And I love that to be the best possible way. You know, when those guys, they can send them here, how about us? Why shouldn't we able to clean it and send it back? And I will help to do whatever I have in my hands.
Let me stop you, because I'm not too interested in the issue of busing people in. I'm more interested in what you would talk to the mayor and the city council about to increase your opportunity to for your store that you're going to have.
Of course. I mean, the only way the opportunity is going to be a more increase is if we can make the area a lot more safer, and people, if we can make the area a lot more safer and cleaner. And when we do that, obviously, all the tourists going to start pouring in, they're going to come home. And there won't be any necessity of closing the shop at 8 p.m. We can be open the maximum hours we can get from OLCC by being open till 10 p.m. because now 8 p.m. they close because the place is almost dead. Nobody is around. I will ask them to help to clean the area. I will ask them to make the place a lot more safer. I will ask them if they can push the whatever is not belong to that area to where they should be. And I will ask them to do that. That is what we want. That is how it should be. Safer place, safer area, going to be better business, more people going to come in.
Listen, I won't hold it against you, and I'm going to ask Barry too the same question. Specifically, do you know of any local ordinances in Portland or state statutes that you would sit down and talk to people that you would like to see changed in order to increase your business? If you can't answer it, it's fine, but I just am curious to know whether either one of you can answer that question.
One of the things we have seen, they have changed, and it's unfortunately the area is not safe enough. And why it's not safe enough? Because they defunded the police, and also they have tied the police hands in the back, and they are not allowed to stop you if you don't have no license plate on your car if you're doing something. And I've seen, unfortunately, in downtown, how when they are people, they're fighting with each other, police passes, and they don't look. They just look the other way, and they just drive away. I would love the police to be more attentive. I would love to have more police force. I would love to get more, to have a lot more funds, so they be able to take care of the businesses, cities, all the people in downtown, in Portland, all over the city. And unfortunately, they cannot do that right.
Unemployment comp Any specific business tax exemptions, anything at all that you, and listen, I'm not gonna hold it against you, either one of you, but, you know, can you think of anything at all that you would need to increase your business? If no, not just say no, it's perfectly okay. I'll ask the same question to, you have any specific.
Chairman Rosenbaum, unfortunately, I don't get your question. I hope you don't mind.
No, I listen, I said, I personally will not hold it against you if you can't answer it.
No, I will answer it.
Can you explain what was your question? Because, you know, the hearing is a little.
It's okay. Believe me, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
What? No, can we hear the question again?
I'm asking the same question to Troy Berry now.
Go ahead, Ebony.
So if I'm understanding correctly, there was a little bit of a background noise that made it a little hard to hear. But if you're asking kind of who or what processes or statutes that we're aware of that would aid in operating our business downtown?
Yes.
Okay, so, well, I'm not for sure, I can't record the statutes, but I have sat on the board of an affordable housing developer for 8 years and am a board member of Prosper Portland. And so I know there's a downtown urban renewal effort. There's a lot of different paradigms that create the downtown problem. I respectfully disagree with the homeless crisis. That this is nothing new. Portland has been in the top 5 for homelessness issues probably the past 20 years. It's just coming to a head. And the current paradigm where you're seeing people who are living on the street, a lot of those are Portlanders. There are people who are dealing with drug issues. There's people who are dealing with mental health issues.
I just want to ask the question one more time, and I promise I'm not going to hold it against you. Is there any specific, if you say no, it's fine.
Well, I just know there's a multitude of efforts. Prosper Portland, the downtown revitalization project. There's City Club of Portland has an initiative. So there's a bunch of different entities that have initiatives to revitalize downtown. I cannot personally quote a particular statute. I'm just aware of the organizations that are key in leading the effort.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Commissioners, any other questions? The commission will now go into executive session to deliberate on the agent selection pursuant to the authority of ORS 192.660 sub 2. No final decisions will be made in executive session. We will return to open session in this room. If there are members of the media present, representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. Representatives of the media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. We are now going into recess.
Okay.
The December commission meeting is now back. Commissioner Revelle, are you there on?
Yes, I am. One of the things that I want each of you to know is that, as you can tell by the time we took, is that we thought that both of you, all 4 of you, are excellent applicants. Many years ago, because I can talk about many years ago, we didn't have the quality of applicants that we have today, and the 4 of you are very evident of that. So I want to say thank you for being as quality and as qualified as you all are. And whoever's not chosen, please do not quit, because we have other positions coming up and we want you to be part of our growth and development. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair Rosenbaum.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Curran?
Chair, I move to appoint Troy Berry as the permanent agent at store 1200 Portland, 10th Avenue, effective January 5th, 2022.
Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Curran?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Commissioner
much.
Doherty,
Congratulations to you.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Japong Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Melitas,
Yes.
He said yes. He
Yeah.
said
Yes,
okay, Commissioner Reval,
Yes.
and Chair Rosenbaum.
yes. Now, one other comment, please, to Mr. and Mrs. Karush.
Please.
You impressed us immensely. I'm just not saying that. You're good business people. You have passion, you have understanding, and Commissioner Revelle said that we want you to stay involved. We want you to come back again. I want you to know we appreciate you. I'm just not saying that. This is really true. We had a very difficult decision.
Thank you. Thank you.
Both qualified, so keep a smile on your face. I haven't said this before in this way. Keep a smile on your face and come back to us.
We will.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have had, last few weeks, I suddenly they discovered I had a bad aortic valve in my heart, and I went on 28. I went to OHSU hospital. They wanted to keep me, but just because of this meeting with commissioners, I refused. I refused to stay. And I said, I have a meeting with them on 29th. I mean, with Brian Fleming. And I had to sign a waiver to say, I know I'm going to die. It's going to take even a minute. But I said, I don't care. I do not want to lose my meeting. Anyway, I came on 29th. I had a meeting with them. And again, they called me on 29th. They pulled me back to a hospital. And on 2nd of December, they gave me I had an open heart surgery. And thank God, I'm now 110% better than what I was. You know. And, but I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for listening to us. And hopefully next time, you're going to be able to appoint us, because for us, it's not going to be a matter of just being an agent. It's a matter of taking care of state where we call it home, and work for a state and generate money for you guys. And when I am devoted to something, I'm devoted. As I said, I did not want to stay in hospital because I did not want to lose the meeting.
Well,
You know.
You know, what's particularly interesting, and then we'll cut this off, is that normally we just don't have two applicants. We have more than that. And we spent a lot of time and effort on both of you. And with your comment and your story that you just told us, I can guarantee you we'll all remember you when we come back.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Brian Aker can confirm all of these things I said. You know.
Very tough road ahead. We think that you're going to be successful in doing it, and we're going to be looking at you very closely because we want you to have that success. And one of the commissioners and the tears of joy are always wonderful to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Heartwarming. But one of the commissioners in the room, which was very interesting, said, what can we do to help? And that commissioner is going to be coming to see you directly. And you should understand that whatever it's in our power to make you successful, we're going to do. So when that commissioner shows up the door, understand that she's representing all of us and we want you to succeed.
It's absolutely kind of you. I love you guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. We have now, how many we have left? We have the rules, the staff recommendations, commission's discussion on the administrative rules. Nathan, Mr. Ricks, it's nice to see you. We haven't talked in a little while. I miss you, so you're up.
As well, Chairman Rosenbaum and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Nathan Ricks, and I'm the Deputy Director for Strategy and Policy with the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. And today we have two actions for your consideration. The first is temporary and initial action that would require liquor licensee permittees to report trafficking for unlawful employment of minors. And just a little bit of context for you here. Recently, the Oregon legislature passed Senate Bill 515. This was during the last legislative session, and that becomes effective on January 1st, 2022. Staff is proposing to temporarily adopt the rule requiring employees who holding an alcohol service permit to report suspected sex trafficking or unlawful employment of minors at their place of employment to the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. The second action that we're asking is final action on our 2021 alcohol bill and tech package.
Yeah, I know we're gonna vote on these separately, so let's take them separately at this time, okay? Nathan, so hold up on that till is there any discussion on the temporary action?
Chair?
Commissioner?
I do have a quick question for you, Nathan. Commissioner Floyd here. I think this is great work here in regards to having the permittees, having them required to report trafficking. I think this is amazing. Wish we would have done this years ago. My question to you is, how are we going to get this information out to permittees where they know that they're now essentially mandatory reporters, right? Like how, so the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know, if we could have this as a part of their training to get their service permit, you know, I think that would be great, but as we know that there's many different platforms out there and we can't really control that. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But this is going to go into effect here really soon. How do we get this information out there to the permittees?
Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Floyd, appreciate that question. And to the point of your question here, we've already begun to communicate that requirement through compliance bulletins and working with our compliance team in the field to equip them with the resources they need to share this requirement. We've also developed a single point of access on our website, which has all of the necessary information you need to know as a business, as an FCOM, to explain to your employees what to look for. Prior to this requirement, we worked with the Department of Justice and the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association, ORLA, to develop materials that will help permittees identify the indicators of sex trafficking if they see it and suspect it. So what we're really doing here is closing the loop. We have a form that folks can fill out that's separate and apart from a complaint form or some other action specifically for suspected sex trafficking. And so that information has been sent out already in preparation for the law to take effect. And this action will simply align our rules to what that law says. I do want to give a shout out to Carly Vetter, who's on the phone, who was the project lead on this in the compliance division for helping coordinate the work.
Well, Carly, wonderful job. Nathan, you as well. This is great work here. Thank you.
Any other questions? One quick one. I tried to look up the legislative history of this bill, and I'm not sure that you can answer the question, but what precipitated this? And of course, I think it's well worthwhile, but what precipitated this? What was the reasoning behind, or the legislative history behind this? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, Chair Rosenbaum, members of the commission. Senate Bill 1515 was sponsored by Senator Gerard and Kennemer, as well as a host of others. And it was part of work that had been done prior to the 2021 session to really take a close look at the role of Oregon state government agencies in reporting sex trafficking. So the law doesn't just apply to us, but it was made as a recommendation for all law enforcement agencies. So that includes your city and municipal police departments, includes county sheriffs, Oregon State Police, and of course it calls us out there. So I think the intent here was really to get at that consumer level, at the business level, those that would be in the best place to see possible sex trafficking and pass on that requirement so that ultimately we can take that report and get it to law enforcement who can take action if they so choose.
Well, and that really doesn't answer my question. And again, it's not a big issue, but every piece of legislation, there's a reason behind it. You know, if you want the legislators, was there some people who looked at this and said, this is a big problem that the bars and restaurants can help us with? I mean, I'm sure it is, but would you please explain if you can, or Marvin or Steve?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, let me jump in here. Yeah, you know, trafficking of humans and individuals and girls is a particular concern. You'll remember or have read about it. I think it may have been before you came on the commission, Mr. Chairman, and for the record, Steve Marks, Executive Director. You may have remembered this STARS case of trafficking, prostitution, and we had a big criminal case around that. Ultimately, they were charged and the case was proven, and we got the information and took the license out of the system. Across the country and here in Oregon, liquor control commissions or liquor regulatory agencies of the states have been very involved in working with the bar community to identify sex trafficking, to make sure that individuals had the national number to be able to call to get assistance if they wanted to break free of the troubles that they found themselves in. We have participated in voluntary efforts over several years with organizations and put up the stickers and the restrooms so that folks, if they had a chance to make a confidential call to someone who could provide them help, would come and do it. So this was an extension by the legislature, I think, of that concern and the proliferation that we're seeing across the country, across the United States and the world with human trafficking.
Thank you. That answers my question. Any other questions?
Are you still implementing the stickers in restrooms and things like that? I have not seen that. And if not, why not?
Nathan, you know the answer, sir.
What I was going to say, Chair Rosenbaum, Commissioner Jaipal, that is something that we're working with bars and restaurants on. We do have those materials available, our compliance team does, and we want to make as many resources available as possible. So we've got more than just stickers. We also have a fact sheet online and other materials that Orla helped us develop.
Okay.
Thank you.
I need a motion.
Chair,
Commissioner Floyd?
I move to temporarily adopt 845-006-0350, effective January 1st, 2022 to June 4th, 2022. Initiate rulemaking on this action and to hold a rulemaking hearing at staff's discretion.
Take the roll, please.
All right, Commissioner Doherty,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Japong Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus, Commissioner Revolve,
Yes.
Yes.
and Chair Rosenbaum.
Yes. Thank you. Let's go on to the next one, Nathan. Final action.
Yes, Chair Rosenbaum, members of the commission, the staff recommendation for final action that we're putting forward today is for the 2021 alcohol bill and technical fix passage. The Oregon legislature passed Senate Bill 406, Senate Bill 750, and House Bills 264 and 2363 during the 2021 legislative session. These bills are either already in effect or have an effective date of January 1, 2022, and require amendments to Chapter 845 or Oregon Administrative Rules. The changes to these rules also include technical changes to address errors in the rules. I would be happy to answer any questions. Dan Croy, who's our alcohol policy analyst, is also standing by to answer any questions you have.
Commissioners? We're in good shape. I need a motion. Commissioner Doherty, you have it there?
Commissioner Doherty, yes.
Get your baptism.
Exactly. I move to amend 845-005-0331, 005-405, 0410, 0416, 0417, 0440, 0445, 006-0335, 0391, 0392, 0396, 010, 0170, 013, -0090, 015-0115, 0143, 0145, 0148, 0155, and 0170, and to repeal 845-006, -0441, 845-015, -0105, and 845-015-0200, effective January 1st, 2022.
Hell of a baptism, huh? Very good. That's Commissioner Michael Portis. And we have Commissioner Porter replacing Commissioner Porter, so that's easy enough too. Harper. Oh, Harper.
You ready for the roll?
Please take the roll.
Yeah. Commissioner Doherty?
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yeah.
Commissioner Japong Porter? Commissioner Miletus?
Yes.
Commissioner Reval?
Yes.
And Chair Rosenbaum?
Yes. Last but not least, Director Marks, you have any comments or discussion with the board?
Yeah, I'll give a brief report. For the record, Steve Marks, Executive Director. We continue to plow forward with trying to achieve the funding necessary for us to move forward with the warehouse. We are requesting additional limitation from the legislature, and that's proceeding. We've done some additional analysis just to cover our bases. If you go from the north border of Oregon to the south, 25-mile swath along I-5, there are only 3 properties that qualify, and we're negotiating with 2 of them. So yeah, it tells you of the work we're doing here. We're getting some information into the process about the return on investment, and we'll continue to advance that ahead so that we can make get what we need to make a contracting conclusion to put in place the important warehouse to get the returns for the state and public services from the revenue growth that we will derive out of it. So want you to know that's progressing. It's a complicated process. We're going through some iterations to get exceptions to perhaps contract with one of the sites. It's not as vital necessary for another site that we have under consideration, but we are progressing on all fronts and as quick as we can. So that'll come up in February. You did get some information from the Hemp Council, and we are preparing a response to that that we will be sending out hopefully by tomorrow, because we do think there is some misinterpretation of the action that we have proposed in the rules for you to protect kids. So we will be working on that for you and have that information to you hopefully by no later than close of business tomorrow. But we're still doing some work on putting it together today. And and the legislature passed the $20 million enforcement package against for funding local law enforcement, particularly Jackson and Josephine counties, to go after the cartels. It's a one-year appropriation right now. It really starts July 1 to July 1 of 2023. But really important, significant first investment. In addition, they put about $5 million into the water enforcement issue capability down there to protect that. Very grateful and proud of the legislature to take that very aggressive step. That there's more steps to be taken during the February session. We're looking at dealing with the humanitarian issues in the wake of law enforcement actions that leave, workers, some of whom have been trafficked into this country without, knowing why they're here or where they're at. In some cases, services, shelter, food, housing, transition, work on, immigration status, whatever it takes. And the legislature is following up with looking at that issue through legislation. We have the important moratoria issue coming up and how that comes together. And I think we're hopeful that we get some flexibility in the moratoria to deal with some license issues that would be exceptions if this commission finds that there's public purpose to issuing those licenses. And I think that's important for communities that or applicants that may not have been able to get in before the moratoriums came into place. And that certainly combines with, issues of research or equity issue, as that the commission would have some flexibility for a few licenses that have been relinquished or expired, that we could reissue with the powers of with you at the commission, and we would develop rules around that. I'm hopeful that that idea takes hold and look forward to working with it. So with that, I would tell you that all of our staffing requests for emergency border for the upcoming session were denied, but all of our, warehouse project, the additional money we need to conclude and fill out the beer and wine privilege tax system was all recommended, and we'll be focusing on getting those approvals in the session, and then we'll focus on the other issues and emergency boards later in the biennium and in our 23-25 budget request.
That's a hell of a plate we got, huh? Any questions?
One question, if I may, Chairman. The coal memorandum, as I understand it, it takes pretty much hands off from the feds for enforcing, except in places where there's some potential violence or for money going to the cartels. I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if is that a loophole where we could get some assistance from the feds? And number two, do we want to? Do we want to involve them at all?
Couple things here. One, the coal memorandum is no longer in effect, but state laws based on it, the principles are enshrined in state law from the coal memorandum. But there's nothing particular that is directing federal assistance to us, except I think the drumbeat of response from public officials to try to get the attention of federal justice agencies to provide some granting assistance for the hiring of law enforcement to help with this effort. This is a real people power issue in Southern Oregon. We need additional dollars to hire direct law enforcement to get at the interdictions of these international drug trafficking organizations that have infected the Southern Oregon in particular, countryside. It's a massive investment of, criminal enterprise money to, take out of our region hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in corrupt criminal operations in Oregon that with a full disregard for environmental standards, code standards, anything. So, Commissioner Doherty, we and our commission should raise our voice with the rest of the officials, with federal officials, our delegation, and we have to push the idea that the federal government owns some, not just need for assistance, they own some of the responsibility here. Part of this problem was bred out of the Farm Bill of 2018. You know, it was designed for farmers to create rope, you know, dope is rope, fiber, right, out of hemp and really low THC products. What we're seeing is that's not at all what this market is about. It's about CBDs, which are allowable, and you know, sort of exotic lifestyle creations of cannabinoids, some of which the creative and criminal enterprise are making very intoxicating. It's marketed all across America, and because of the interstate commerce provisions and the lack of federal enforcement in the open market of these hemp products, we're seeing a proliferation of THC intoxicating products across America on the internet. So the federal government owes us some responsibility for the way that Farm Bill was rolled out with the lack of controls in place to administer, and certainly as an object lesson for how we would do legal cannabis overall if we ever had it on a higher THC product. So working very hard on that issue. I guess the other point is we need their assistance. We also need their policy changes. The Farm Bill of 2018 would be a direct material help to Oregon. And the legislature took some steps itself to tighten up that program through House Bill 3000 last session. I'd be happy to discuss that with you at leisure further, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Two things. One, well, three. One, I noticed that we didn't get a report on the warehouse this month. So,
you just got it from me, Mr. Chairman. That was about
one every month, whether or not there's anything in there or not, we need one. Well, obviously it's important and we need to be up to date on it. Second, I'm going to ask you, Steve, to give us a monthly report on the allocation. Oh, by the way, congratulations on the appropriation success. Wonderful. And please give us a monthly report on the allocation of those funds and how they're being used. I think the commission would very much appreciate that. And I'm going to make a general recommendation. We can discuss it further, but I want to go on the record on it. Listen, this issue is so important. You have spent so much time on the Southern Oregon issue, we'll call it, is my thought is in May, we should hold the commission meeting down in Southern Oregon and bring it to the attention of everybody how important this is and make this a issue that we should get as much, you know, we don't go out of the way to get publicity on this commission. It's not our way of doing things, but in this case, I think it would be very wise to hold a meeting down there in May, our commission meeting, and to publicize it, to say that we're not only 100% on board, but by that time, we should get a good indication of the allocation of that appropriation money, and we can bring that home as well. So we'll talk about it more, but I'm throwing that out right now, and I think it's at least a good suggestion. Any commissioners have any feelings on it one way or another?
I like that. I like that. Good idea.
Okay, well, there seems to be unanimous consent that we should do it, so keep it in mind, please. And if you think otherwise, think again.
Chair Rosenbaum?
Yes.
I think it would also be a good idea to mend some fences in Eastern Oregon, and August is a perfect time to have a meeting in Pendleton.
Oh.
You know, I think
just an idea.
It's not a bad one, and I understand. We'll talk about it. I think that's a great idea. We really should have some meeting. We haven't done it in a long time. We should have some meetings across the state. I think that's great, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, this is the year to do it. Next year's a session year. We'll be a lot busier. So we'll endeavor to work on those plans with you. And coronavirus control issues aside, you know, it looks like we're entering a world where we're beginning to be able to conduct that kind of business. And so I think it's an excellent suggestion. This commission has done a ton of work with the Southern Oregon to advance their causes with the, you know, the testing program. We supported ODA on over the summer. So I appreciate that. You know, and the chairman knows this, but I do think we need to give our thanks to Jeff Rhodes and the governor herself for being so supportive of these dollars down there. She very much understands the issue, and she worked directly with all those legislators we've been hearing from Southern Oregon to facilitate this package's quick approval through the legislature. And, you know, it's an incredible help to our threatened regulated market by what's happening down there with these illicit growers that are both fully illegal and those that are manipulating their status and as registrants under the federal program.
Well, in the same token, and we'll end this at that point, not only do we understand the governor and Jeffrey Rhodes were incredibly important, but in the same token, I'm going to take the liberty, because this is a public meeting, is to personally thank you and all of the people on the staff for the credibility you have with the legislature and how important you are in particular to this agency. So whether you want to hear it or not, and there's no reason not to say it, you've done a fabulous job, especially with the legislature. And thank the entire staff. I'm looking at the vice executive director. I'm looking at Nathan. Listen, thank you. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you're going to get to test our mettle on some rules next week, or at the end of the year. That'll help.
The new commissioners are 100% up to date. They will be in a week, but they're going to get a baptism, that's for sure.
Please don't forget, you know, and I know you're not forgetting, right? The hearing on the rules is on the 20th. And we have some tricky parts of important business there to conduct for you to balance out some of the decisions of the solid staff recommendations. And I really look forward to hearing from all the communities so that you can be placed in the best position to make your final judgments.
Thank you, Steve. Any final thoughts by the commissioners?
Yeah. For the record, it's Will Higley, Deputy Director. I just wanted to let the commission know that based on the governor's mandate, we're actually going to be starting to open up to the public January 3rd. So our next commission meeting will have more staff in the building. It's, as I reported a few months back, this is a challenging time, but I wanted to go on record and just let you know these are challenging times, and to bring people back has not been easy, right? Things are going to change, but management and employees have done a terrific job putting schedules together. We're going to start in a staged approach. So we're just going to staff for the public to start. There'll be some minimal staff that needs to come in to support the people that are going to be here from IT and ASD and things like that. But it's been really a group effort, and I just wanted to acknowledge the staff publicly. We're moving forward, and unless something changes in the next 2 weeks, we're actually going to be opened up to the public. We've got processes and systems in place to be safe. I'm looking forward to seeing everything.
Thank you. I didn't really realize that. Thank you. I'm going to the Blazer game, so I'm past that stage at this point. Okay. Thank you all.